Hello dear learners, this is the third video in continuation with PHP programming. In this video we are going to discuss about the conditional statement and the looping. In the previous video we have discussed about the variables and the operators that are used in PHP language. So let's start with the conditional statement. We already know in all the programming languages the conditional statement that we are using is the if statement. Along with if we can use else, and with if and else if we want we can use the nested if statements also. So what does it mean basically the if and else? So in programming whenever we are trying to define any logic we use to write a conditional statement. If a condition is true then it executes some part of the code, and if the condition is false it executes some other part of the code. This is the idea about the conditional statement. Very often when you write code you want to perform different actions for different decisions. You can use conditional statements in your code to do this. In PHP we have the following conditional statement. If statement, use this statement to execute some code only if a specified condition is true. Like for example, if I am saying if A is greater than B. So if this condition is true then only executes any number of statements within the brackets, and if this condition is false you want to execute some other part of the program. So in if statement we are giving any condition, and if that condition is true then only it executes the statement, otherwise some other part of the code. And what is some other part of the code is the else part, E-L-S-E. Else part means if the condition is false, whatever condition we have given in the if statement, it won't execute any statement of the if, rather it executes the statement of the whatever statement is written in the else part. Else statement use this statement to execute some code if a condition is true and another code if the condition is false. So this else is the another part of the code. If the condition is false in the if statement it executes the else part. After if else the next is nested if statement. Nested if means if inside another if. So how to write it? If a condition is given then execute some set of code, else if the condition is false whatever is written in the else part will be executed. Now in the else part if we are writing more than one statement it should be enclosed in curly braces, and within those curly braces if I am writing another if statement and else statement, so it will be called as if inside another if statement. Basically we are writing another if statement in the else part of the first if statement. We can also use switch statement for conditional execution of the code. Like in if else we are first checking the condition. If the condition is true it executes some statements, and if the condition is false it executes the else part of the statement. Similarly, for the very purpose of selecting a particular code block of code for execution we can also use switch statement. With switch we are using cases. So we are passing some parameter to the switch statement. If it matches with any of the case then that block of code is executed. Let's see one example of the conditional statement, that is if statement. As you can see on the screen, a variable is given var underscore name and date is given, and in this date function we have given what? Capital D, which represents day. So the if statement is checking if $variable underscore name is, we have used double equal to, and in double quotes we have written Tuesday. So if the system day, not date, if the system day is Tuesday, it displays a message on the user screen, have a nice weekend. Now this particular program will be true for Tuesday, but if you are executing this program on some other day it will give you a false result, or it will not display anything on the screen because we have not given else part in this program. Now there is another program in which we have used if and else. Now we are giving a condition here, if variable name is equals to Tuesday, because if the system day is Tuesday, the condition is true and it will display have a nice day. But if the system day is not Tuesday, it will display the else part, have a nice day or have a nice weekend. We have given two different statements. So if today's day is Tuesday, it will display have a nice weekend. Otherwise, for any other days other than Tuesday, it will display have a nice day. Now there is one more example of if statement. Here we are using multiple statements in if block, right? So as you can see, the program is same. We are checking whether today is Tuesday or not. If the condition is true, we have displayed 3 statements within the curly braces. Now what is the use of these curly braces? It means if you are having more than one statement in either in the if block or in the else part, it should be enclosed in curly braces. So we have display hello and this BR for next line or line break that we have used from the HTML part. The next statement, have a nice weekend, see you on Monday. So these 3 actions we are trying to perform in the if statement if the condition is true, and since there are more than one statement, it should be enclosed in curly braces. If today is not Tuesday, then it will display a message have a nice day and the program is closed. So this is the use of curly braces. When to use curly braces? If there are more than one statement either in the else part or in the if part. There is another example. Now instead of Tuesday, we have changed the date to Friday. If the condition is true, it is displaying have a nice day. Else, now if today's machine date is not Friday, again it is checking whether today is Sunday or not. If it is equals to Sunday, it will display have a nice Sunday, and if it is neither Friday nor Sunday, then it will display a common message for all other days, that is have a nice day. So in this particular program, we have used nested if inside another if block. So concatenating else if all together. So first of all, again I am repeating the same thing. If machine date or the system day is Friday, then it will display have a nice weekend. If not, again it checks. If today's day is Sunday, it displays have a nice day. Otherwise, for all other days except Friday and Sunday, it will display a message have a nice day. Now this is an example of switch and case, again for executing a particular code of block. So a parameter whose name is n is passing to the switch statement, and this value of n is mapped or compared with the label value, right? So in front of case we are writing some values, either it can be a numeric value or a character value. If the value of this variable is same as the value of the label, then it executes this line of code. So it will check whether the value of n is same as label 1 or label 2, or if there are more statements. So wherever the case matches with the value of the n, it only executes that part of the code. Now you can see one optional thing is there, that is called as break. Now since we only wants to execute a particular case, we don't want to execute the other cases, right? Now suppose if the value of n is matches with label 1, it executes this statement, right? After this statement, it will also go for the case 2, if you are having more cases, underline. So we just want, after executing this statement, the program will come out from the switch case. So you need to write a break keyword, right? So this break does what? It throws you out from the switch block. Now with switch and case, there is a optional thing that is called as default. If nothing is matched with the variable with the value of n, so whatever is written in the default will be executed. So this is not mandatory, it is an optional thing. If the value of n doesn't match with any of the label given in the switch, it will execute the default case. So PHP conditional statements for switches, first we have a single expression and most often a variable that is evaluated once. The value of the expression is then compared with the value for each case in the structure. If there is a match, the block of the code associated with that case is executed. We are using break to prevent the code from running into the next case automatically. The default statement is used if no match is found. So, this is what we have already discussed about switch and case. There is a small example of switch and case. So, $x is a variable and we have written the labels as 1, 2, 3, etc. and default is also there. If the value of $x is 1, it will display what? Number 1 and then break and counters, it means it will throw you out from the switch statement. And if the value of $x is 3, it matches with this case, so it will not execute this part. If the value of $x is equals to 3, it only executes this part, right? So, it displays number 3, break, and you come out from the loop. But if the value of x is other than 1, 2, 3, like for example, if the value of x is 7, now we do not have any case with 7. So, what it does? It displays only the default part of the switch case statement. So, this is it for this particular video. We move on to arrays in the coming video. Thank you all.